being on stage and allowing myself to have like a shaky voice as I'm reading my poems, and allowing myself to like be shaky and be anxious actually lends a lot to what I'm sharing. And again, like after I finish these performances, I always get a lot of people coming up to me and saying that was so powerful. I love how much of yourself that you put into it. All right. So I'm here to talk to you guys about authenticity. So a bit about myself. So I guess I'm a multidisciplinary artist, writer. I dabble in theatre here and there, but mainly I write. So like genre fiction, YA fiction, creative nonfiction, and poetry. I also do a lot of spoken word poetry and like performance poetry. So I thought I'd start by talking about my personal journey to an authentic writing practice, and the initial pushback that I had to, being authentic in my work and art, as someone that always looked to my creative practice as being a method of escapism, because that's what I liked to, delve into when it came to like reading books, watching movies, TV shows, anything like that. I was always very much about what can take me out of my own headspace and allow me to pretend that life is a bit better than it is. And so that was what I was like really keen on creating myself, and why I write a lot of like fantasy and like weird speculative genre stuff. I think as well something to do with like creating something so far away from me is that it gave me a real feeling of safety. Not having to expose myself like that. Growing up and going to school in the 90s before people were more sensitive and empathetic with things, I often found myself a target for bullying and abuse. When I first started taking my creative practice seriously, I wanted to keep that part of me as far away from my work and art as possible. Where things really started to change for me when it came to my art is when I removed that armor, that blanket, and had removed the separation between, I guess, my desire to create a form of like escapism and something that was like so far away from myself, and bring parts of myself into my practice. And so I spent a lot of time kind of thinking, what is everyone else doing that's like allowing them to do better? And it, like, I don't think it was even that they're doing better. It was just that I was so self-critical. And one of the things that I kind of came to was when I was binge watching one of my comfort shows, this anime Naruto, and I was thinking, why do I like this show so much? You know, there's a lot of really good TV out there, but I always gravitate towards this. And the thing that I figured made me gravitate towards it wasn't like all of the cool fighting scenes and everything. It was the fact that I felt a connection to certain characters. Characters like Rock Lee, who were just like horrible at their practice, their ninja practice. Characters like Gaara, who were like had this isolation. It was like figuring out that, well, that's the reason why I actually really enjoy this, is because of that moment of connection, that like small moment of relatability. And that was when I started to bring more of myself into my work and my creative practice, my writing really started to level up and my work started to connect with more people, because I would put small things that I personally went through that weren't always shown in media, in art, in any kind of creative practice, and show it off in a way, I guess, that wasn't pandering. And so bringing that into my creative practice, when I'm writing this fantasy novel about a kid at a magic art school, and just weaving those little parts of myself in, so this character will never touch door handles, and I don't, I guess, highlight it. It's just something that's kind of there in the background, and it's something that I know if I picked it up and read and just saw it as not a highlighted feature, just a small detail, it would be something that would really affect me, because it's something that not many people have or do or think about. And so I started bringing all of these, I guess, different little quirks or things that I have into my fantastical genre-based work. And that was when, I got some pushback as well, with people being well, that was a bit weird. Why is he doing this? Or why doesn't he just, talk to that character? That would solve everything. It's so simple. Just talk to them. And then I would have to explain, well, I'm writing this from, I guess, an autistic lens. And so this is something that I really want to expose readers to. And then the next kind of, I guess, statement I'd get is, oh, well, you should really blow it up then, make it more obvious, really state that, because of my autism, or because of my such and such, because of my OCD. And I was no, but if I was reading something like that, then I would just think, okay, well, this writer is mocking me, or it would cause a disconnect. And so I had a lot of, I guess, butting heads in that kind of way, with wanting to share myself and more of myself and the small things I go through, but not wanting to have it seem like I'm trying to create an educational thing to educate people about I guess difficulties that I have. I wanted it to be something that anyone could pick up and read and enjoy, and just along the way they are given witness to characters that have these small little differences, bringing more of my authentic self into my work, even when I wanted to be as far away from myself as possible, was kind of that space where I found myself really enjoying the act of creating, and it started to come a lot easier when I started bringing myself into it and just thinking, okay, I'm just going to put myself in this character's shoes and run wild and basically trash write everything that's going through my head. And so then I'd weave in more of a, I guess, explanation or more exposition, just to ground it and frame it more there. It made creating so much easier for myself and so much more enjoyable and cathartic. Yeah, thank you.